Hi, and welcome to the He's Playing Warhammer Demons Detachment review. I'm Harvey, and this is going to be the first in a collection of videos where we analyse each of these Demons Detachments given to us by the recent Grotmas release. I'm really looking forward to making some videos and putting out some content for the Demons community. And hopefully by the end of this, you'll have an insight into the first detachment which we're going over, which is Demonic Incursion. This is the OG. The detachments that has been out since the very start of 10th edition, but there'll be a collection of videos, as I said, out at the end of this series, one on each of the different detachments, as well as a final video just comparing them and their scores. But I'll get onto that in a minute. First, let me tell you a little bit about myself. I'm Harvey, as I said. I'm a 16-year-old playing Warhammer in England. I love the game, and I've been playing it for around 3 years, 2.5 years competitively, and that's been going to tournaments, LGT, Beachhead and Bournemouth. I recently went to LGT and went 4-1, and that was quite good. I was quite happy with that performance. That's the best I've done, and I'm going to the next Bournemouth in February, the next Beachhead event, which I'm really looking forward to. But yeah, I am really looking forward to getting some content out to you guys. So let's just begin, shall we? First, I'll just describe the format that I'm going to be using for you guys to score each of these detachments. They'll all get a score out of 40, and these points will really come from different places within the detachment. There'll be 10 points gained for detachment rule, and this is just going to be going over it, looking at how strong it is compared to the other ones, and in what ways it can be used. 12 points for the strats, with each strat being pointed out of 2. Each of the detachments has a flurry of different strats that can be, some are really good, some not so. Next is the enhancements. Again, each enhancement will get a possible max of 2 points, and then at the end there'll be 10 points for overall synergy, how the army is finally comprised and what things it really wants to do, what key units interact really well with each other, and how in the end the army functions really. This means that at the end, as I said, we'll have a final video where we can compare the scores of each of these attachments to really determine what is strongest and what people should have a look into if they want to play. So let's get into it. First up is the detachment rule. The detachment rule for the OG Demonic Incursion is Warp Rifts. This basically allows your demons to deep strike within 6 inches if you're within the Shadows of Chaos. I'm going to assume you guys already know what Shadows of Chaos is, but very, very briefly, it depends on how many objectives and markers you hold in different areas of the table, or if you're within 6 inches of one of your greater demons. I mean, I don't know if you can tell, this attachment already is very strong, this detachment rule, and this is really going to be the theme of this detachment. It's a strong detachment, it definitely is. Being able to hit 6-inch charges is amazing. You know, normally units coming down from Deep Strike have to have a 9-inch distance from enemy units, but being able to come down 6 inches away is amazing, especially for, I say, a melee-focused army like Demons. We've got some extremely powerful melee units, ranging from greater demons like Bloodthirsters or Scarbrand. Even units like Rotigus can really hit hard. But then even little, they're not necessarily littler, smaller units like Blood Crushers, maybe even Demonettes or whatever, Fiends, right, is really strong. As I mentioned, you can get these from your greater demons, and each greater demon has a 6-inch aura of their God's Shadow of Chaos, which means Khorne units, for example, could be set up within 6 inches of Scarbrand, and they could be 6 inches away. And this is from Deep Strike. 6 inches. They could be set up in Deep Strike within 6 inches of Scarbrand, 6 inches away from your opponents. This means units like Bloodletters with that add 1 to charge icon can get a 5-inch Deep Strike out of charge. Crazy good, amazing. And because of these auras, you're actually allowed to string out greater demons like a Blood Thirster could move up the field, create an aura of 6 inches for Scarbrand to go into, and from there you can really string out. It's worth noting that Bellacor's 6-inch aura is universal, so any unit can come down 6 inches away. But I mean, it isn't 6-inch Deep Strike isn't only used for charging, right? There's so many other things that could be enhanced with this, like chaff units like Nurglings coming down, scoring, I don't know, area denial or engage on all fronts. Units like Flame is coming in, shooting, you can really get some powerful shooting. But it could also be just tying up enemy units, charging, not necessarily killing them, just tying them up. Or screening, you know, an essential part of the game. For this very strong detachment rule, I've decided to give it... There we go. Boom! Oh, that says 8 out of 10 grots. It is 8 out of 10. Right, I've messed up already. It is 8 out of 10 grots. There's only 7 grots lit up there. I do apologise. But this is 8 out of 10 grots. Or points. It's very strong. A very good detachment rule to start off with. Let's move on to the enhancements. As you'll see here, there's an enhancement for each of the Chaos deities. One for Khorne, Noble Slaanesh, and Tzeentch. And, I mean, while these can be put on any character of those specific gods, so like Agrath, King of Blades, could be put on a Khorne unit, I don't know, like a Bloodmaster, you're mainly going to see them on the Greater Demons, because that is where, you know, these buffs benefit the unit the most. So, let's start off with Argath. I think it is Argath, King of Blades. This is add 1 strength and attack, or add 2 strength and attack if you're within shadows, which, you know, you probably will be, especially because shadows triggers at the start, and when this is used in the charge phase, you're normally going to have moved up. Add 2 strength and attack is very strong. You know, I'm judging this as if it's put on a Bloodthirster, and this just, you know, add 2 attack on its own is great. Add 2 strength just means, you know, that strength 18, strength 16 on some of those weapons is just going to be popping. I mean, I guess those T9 units like Rhinos so well, but even units like Land Raiders, where the strength isn't needed, but the attacks definitely is. It definitely will make a difference, and for 20 points, it's a must-take. This is a 2. Next is the Everstave. Now, the Everstave, I'm a Tzeentch. I used to play pure Tzeentch Demons, and I might now with this new detachment, but the Everstave is amazing, giving you add 6-inch range and add 2 strength to ranged weapons. The add 6-inch range is really needed because with quite a short range on the weapons, 18 on the bolt and 12 on the staff, going to 24 and 18 respectively, it's just a crazy increase. It means you can actually hit units from across the table. And then add 2 strength puts you up from strength 10 and strength 9 to strength 12 and strength 11, which, you know, is a massive breakpoint, possibly giving you add 2 to wound in some situations against, you know, T11, some T10 models units that you're fighting. So this is amazing. 2 more. I mean, you might be seeing a theme. The next one is, the Everstave is 25 points, but it's definitely worth it. The Endless Gift, that says the Endless Gift. The Endless Gift, which is going to be put on a Great Unclean one, is incredible. The detachment is defined by this, and if I could give it more than 2 grots, I would, but I can't. I can only give it 2. A 4-up for paying Great Unclean one increases its durability from, you know, 20 wounds with the 6-up for pain T12 to an average of 40 wounds, which is mental for the points cost of 260. This enhancement anywhere else is not worth it, but on the Great Unclean one with 20 wounds, it's so good. And then finally, Soul Stealer. I haven't really talked about it. I'm giving it 2 grots. It's very, very good. This is 15 points, so quite cheap. Put it on a Keeper of Secrets. On a 3 or 4-up, regain a wound when you kill a model. You know, those Keeper of Secrets are going to be devouring certain types of light infantry, and I think this is to a max of 6. But regaining 6 wounds on a Keeper of Secrets is crazy, especially with that 5-up for pain. That equates to nearly 8 wounds. So, 8 wounds. So, very, very good. The enhancements get a solid 8 out of 8 grots. Some detachment defining abilities here. Very, very, very good. Next up, stratagems. So I'll just give you a brief rundown of these. So Corrupt Real Space. Actually, I'll do it as I go along. So Corrupt Real Space. This is a 1 CP sticky and objective strat, and when you sticky it also gives you a 6-inch aura of Shadows of Chaos, although I always forget that when I play it. I don't think it ever comes into play that much, but a sticky and objective is good. It's 1 CP, and this is good because you can do it in either player's command phase. So if you're facing really shooting heavy matchups that maybe don't have the best move characteristic to move onto your objective, stickying stickying an objective in the middle, and then if they shoot it off, you still owning it is very, very good and can be quite powerful, allowing you to move off it. We have sticky elsewhere in the detachment, so I've only given it 1 out of 2, but it's a good strat. Drought of Terror is add 1 AP and then reroll wounds if the target is battle shocked. So this, you might target a unit that you're shooting, you get add 1 AP against it. This is really great. A lot of armies in the game have the armor of contempt stratagem or something similar, like I don't know, true silver armor for Grey Knights. And being able to cancel that out is very good. Add 1 AP can really, I like it on Lord of Change. Even a Bella Core I quite like it on, because it gives your opponent no save if they're on a 2-up. And then reroll wounds if battle shocked. Actually, it's only come up a couple of times for me when you can get it off. Oh, it's so spicy. But yes, this strat's very good. It's only 1 CP, it's great. Then we got Warp Surge. This is an advanced and charge type ability. Advanced and charges are very good, especially when combined with a slower move characteristic, because it could potentially double your movement in that turn. They're especially powerful because your opponent never knows what you're going to roll for it. You could roll a 1, you could roll a 6, so they always have to predict for the worst. Potentially moving, obviously if they don't want to charge you and they're a good player, they're going to be your movement, add 12, or add 9 for a higher thing, and then an advanced roll. So it's a very good strat, allowing some of your key melee units to get in more reliably. I've given this 1 because it's on the verge of 1 and 2, but I've given it 1 this time because we have Deep Strike, and because of that I'm not always using it because we can just come down 6 inches away. But yeah, next is Denizens of the Warp. Now, this is my baby. So this used to be a 3-inch Deep Strike, no charge, with all the other types of Deep Strike in the game, which was a 3-inch Deep Strike, all the ones similar. Sorry. And now this is a 6-inch Deep Strike, no charge. A lot worse. It's still a good strat, and I've heard people saying that it's rubbish now. You'll never use it. You'll never see it. I don't agree, because there's definitely situations where you don't have shadows that you will use this strat. If you don't have it, you don't often have it in your opponent's deployment zone. If you need a deep strike down there to do a establish locus or behind enemy lines or something like that, it's still useful, but nowhere near the power that it was. So it's only 1 grot this time. Next is my favourite, the Realm of Chaos. This is another detachment defining ability. These are all 1 CP, by the way, I haven't mentioned. The Realm of Chaos, 1 CP. You pick 2 units at the end of your opponent's turn, basically. Pardon me. And you can pick them up off the board, place them anywhere on the board next turn. Picky uppy droppy downy, as I like to call it. I'm going to put it forward. It's 2 grots. It's amazing. That combined with the 6-inch Deep Strike means that your army is hyper mobile and units can be popping up all over the table, all over the time, all the time. I think because your opponent never knows what you could do, and every unit could use this, and it's really valuable, on units like, even units like Plague Bearers, these units that stick on your backfield, that maybe screen for turns 1, 2, maybe even 3, but then can get straight into the fight with either a 6-inch Deep Strike or a 6-inch Charge. It's crazy good. These picky uppy droppy downy abilities are always incredibly powerful for whoever they are for. And then Demonic Invulnerability, finally. This is reroll saving throws of 1, only when your opponent's shooting you. It's a good ability, and there's a lot of times where you will want to use it, but I don't think it's incredible. Oftentimes, if your opponent's shooting at big, important units that matter, that you care if they live or die. So normally these are your greater demons. They're going to be putting in low volume, high power shots. I don't know, like las cannons or something of that caliber. And so normally for those, you just want a CP reroll if you're going to reroll a save. Rerolling saving throws of 1 against those low volume really isn't that great, because you're less likely to roll ones that you then reroll. On the other hand, when maybe people are shooting units of pink horrors and stuff like that, high volume, this can be really useful into keeping those units alive. So I've given it 1 there. Overall, this means that the stratagems get, a respectable 8 out of 12 grots. Some really amazing ones like the Realm of Chaos, as well as Drought of Terror being great, but Denizens of the Warp not being 3 inches did suck a bit. Next, we're going to go on to synergy, how the units interact with each other, and how well, really, how you can build your list to capitalise on this, I guess. So I'm going to start by saying being the first detachment, the synergies were maybe cut out a little. And so I say that because if you compare this detachment to the recent ones for Grotmus, this allows you to play demons of any type and won't try and push you down a certain path. Well, obviously the other detachments do. Blood Legion for Khorne, Scintillating Legion for Tzeentch, or whatever. But being the original one, this doesn't try and push you down a particular way. This doesn't mean to say, however, you can do that and still create a really powerful list. Because even though the strats are general purpose, providing damage and mobility and all this and that, you can really, by focusing on specific gods, you can create some really powerful lists. I've got it up the side there, Slaanesh spam. I've seen some very, very powerful lists that is basically not pure Slaanesh, but mainly Slaanesh, taking the most advantage of these 6-inch deep strikes from the greater demons of that god. So, for example, Keeper of Secrets and Shalaxi Hellbane being very good right now. And then deep striking fiends or demonettes within 6 inches of those gods, of those greater demons, I should say, and then charging. Seeing the same with Nurgle, piling up loads of Nurgle, greater demons. I mean, they all really have auras. I haven't said that before, but they all have auras, which, for example, the Great Unclean one is, he gives an aura of 6 up full of pain to Nurgle units. I can't speak tonight. Slaanesh is add 1 AP for Slaanesh units in combat, and Tzeentch is add 1 strength in shooting. And so by spamming these and getting a lot of these great auras, whether it's a 6-inch deep strike or it's a buff like that, you can create some really powerful synergistic lists. I will say that while these greater demons are very powerful, the most synergistic one of them all, which I guess he isn't a greater demon, but I'm going to call him one for the purpose of this video, is Be'lakor. So whether you like him in the list or you don't, he can really add... you can tile your units together if you're going for a more demon soup, chaos soup, as they called it, I think back in 9th. I like that name. As, you know, your Tzeentch can work with your Khorne and your Slaanesh can work with your Nurgle, because his, as I said earlier, his auras are not god specific, so you can have all of them working together in a giant mixing pot, allowing you to really bring what you like. But there's no fixed way to play here. You can still create some very powerful combos with those amazing strats and enhancements though. Overall, I've given it 6 out of 10 grots. You know, there's no defined way, but there's still very powerful ways to do it. So I'm going to give you my closing thoughts on this detachment. My closing thoughts are that it is still very strong. It did just technically get nerfed. I know a lot of the armies in the game got nerfed with the loss of a 3-inch deep strike, which does hurt demons, and does hurt them quite a lot, but I still think it's a very strong detachment, especially for demons. 6-inch deep strike and then charge is very great, for especially when you can use it to create amazing ball presence by using multiples of these 6-inch auras. Maybe even using Be'lakor to allow any unit in demons to 6-inch deep strike. The strats are great, as well as some killer enhancements. Enable you to build some very strong lists. And there's a lot of auto takes in there, like the 4 up front of Pink Radically one. Oh, I hope he doesn't get nerfed. So, if you've been keeping count, you'll realise that this is 30 out of 40 grot points. It's very good. I'm looking forward to seeing how these other detachments compare, and I hope you are too. I'm going to be doing that in the next video. But as time goes on, there'll be more that's discovered with these new ones, and maybe they will give the Demonic Incursion, nearly forgot it but didn't, a run for its money. Although, if I'm honest, I doubt it. I think it's very strong and played either as a mixing pot with Be'lakor in there, or maybe a Slaanesh for a sort of Nurgle, you know, style of list. I think those are maybe Khorne as well. I think those really can work quite well. Can create some very powerful lists for tournament play. Thank you very much for listening to me ramble on about demons. As I said, I love it, and I hope you gained something from this video. I am He's Playing Warhammer, and please let me know down in the comments your thoughts on what I can improve on, what you think of this detachment, and what you think of the other ones from Grotmus coming. Next up is going to be the Scintillating Legion. I think I said that right. I might need to double check that. The Scintillating Legion looks right. where Tzeentch, my god, will be put under the pressures of the Grotma's points. And we'll see how it compares to the original Demonic Incursion. I've had a couple of games with the new Tzeentch one, and I've got some opinions, so make sure you stay tuned for those. In the meantime, happy wargaming, and I hope you keep on playing Warhammer and improving, so we can really bolster this demon community of ours. I'll see you later. Goodbye.